Hey guys, I'm your boy Nick with Pick 'em a Man. Today we're gonna be talking about Vegas, UFC Vegas 82. This is gonna be going down in November 4th, and we just had a opponent change in the main event. Jailton and Almeida was supposed to take on Curtis the Razor Blades, who's a wrestler, mostly grappler. But now Curtis Blade pulled out of the fight. Now he's gonna be taken down. Now he's gonna be taking on Derrick Lewis, who's mostly a hard hitter, powerful brawler. Derrick Lewis is one of the most craziest heavyweight fighters I've ever seen in my life. Let's talk about this fight, guys. This is mainly a striker versus grappler matchup. This is a very good matchup, by the way. I hope Derrick Lewis is gonna be prepared for with the takedown defense, because he's gonna need to. So we all know who Jailton Almeida is. He's 19-2 overall in his MMA career. 32 years old, 6 feet 3 inches tall. He trains out of Gopao de Luta gym. He's gonna be taking on Derrick Lewis, everyone's favorite heavyweight fighter, Derrick Lewis, who's 27-11 overall. He's coming off a win over Marcus Rodrigo de Lima, a beautiful flying knee knockout of Rodrigo de Lima. He was the first guy to ever knock out Rodrigo de Lima. That was one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life. Before that, he was on a 3-fight losing streak. He got finished by Sergey Spivak, got not finished by Sergey Pavlovich, got finished by Tai Tuivasa by elbow knockout. Before that, he finished Chris Dawkins. Anyways, guys, let's talk about Jailton Almeida. He's undefeated in the UFC, hasn't lost a single fight in the UFC. He's 5-0 in the UFC. He's finished all of his 5 wins. Finished Jarjini Rosenstrike last time around in the first round with the rear naked choke. Finished Samil Abdurakhimov with the ground and pound in the second round. Finished Anton Turkali by rear naked choke in the first round at light heavyweight. So since he's moved up, he's really putting guys away early within a round and a half. Then finished Parker Porter, of course. I don't know how much stock you can put into that, but he's finishing all these guys early, like very early on. He's mostly a grappler. He's probably gonna be looking better in striking, but he mostly wants to get that double leg takedown and then take his opponents down and ragdoll him. He's always looking for the submission. Once he gets on top of you, it's pretty much like it's over. It's game over. If he gets Derrick Lewis down, which Derrick Lewis hasn't shown the best takedown defense. Let's look at some stats from Jailton Almeida. Look at this guy. Look at this fucking guy's stats. He's landing about 6.40 like takedown average. That's the takedown average. He's getting hit. He's absorbing like 0.30 significant strikes. That is absolutely crazy. That's like Khabib level. Even Khabib was absorbing more significant strikes than that. Look at the striking defense is 25%, but he's not really striking with anyone. He's going out there, doing what he needs to do, going out there, getting the takedowns right away. Right away he's getting the takedowns, and he's on quite a roll right now. And I don't think Derrick Lewis is gonna be the one to stop that roll. I don't think Derrick Lewis is gonna be able to do anything. Unless Derrick Lewis has a puncher's chance. I think the odds for this fight is gonna be pretty crazy. I expect the lines to be pretty heavily favoring Jailton Almeida, knowing that Derrick Lewis doesn't have the best takedown defense. But yeah, man, this is a tough matchup for Derrick Lewis, in my opinion. Let's look at Derrick Lewis' stats. I want to take a look at Derrick Lewis' stats over here. Where's Derrick Lewis? There we go. Derrick Lewis takedown defense is 52%. It's not the worst, not the best. Derrick Lewis is finished. He has the most knockouts in UFC history, I think. Just insane. This dude has insane power, and he's also 6 feet 3 inches tall, with a 79-inch reach. So I think this is a better stylistic matchup for Jailton Almeida than the Curtis Blade fight. Curtis Blade was a wrestler, so we all thought that maybe Curtis Blade could defend some takedowns. And Curtis Blade had some striking. Okay, he could strike okay, but Derrick Lewis, man, if he lands a clean on Jailton Almeida, of course Derrick Lewis can knock out anyone, pretty much at heavyweight or any weight class. But I gotta go with Jailton Almeida. I'm gonna go with Jailton Almeida by first round. I'm gonna go by first round knockout for Jailton and Almeida, guys. That's my pick. First round, not knockout. I'm gonna go first round submission for Jailton and Almeida. That's my pick, guys. I think the under 1.5 rounds is a good bet here, because Jailton and Almeida goes out there and he's getting the submissions. We've seen when Derrick Lewis gets taken down, I mean, he doesn't have much off his back. He gives up the triangle choke pretty easily, gives up the rear naked choke pretty easily, doesn't defend the submissions all too well. Alright, guys, that's it. That's my main event pick, Jailton Almeida by first round submission. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a arm triangle choke. Guys, next up in the co-main event, we have Gabriel Bonfim taking on Nicolas Dalby. This is going to be a welterweight matchup between these two guys. So we all know who Gabriel Bonfim is. I mean, he's on fire right now, on quite a win streak right now, undefeated 15-0. I mean, he's really putting things together right now. In the UFC, he's made quite a big wave in the UFC since coming into the UFC, him and his brother. I mean, Gabriel Bonfim is mostly, he can strike, he's a very well-rounded fighter. He has a very good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and he submitted Trevin Giles in the first round. I mean, that was a nasty guillotine choke, man. And before that, he submitted Munir Lazez in like 30 seconds in the first round. Before that, he finished Trey Waters, I mean, in the first round too. I think it was the first round, I think it was the second round, yeah. I mean, very, very impressive, man. I'm very impressed by Gabriel Bonfim. We did pick him in his last fight against Trevin Giles. We did pick him by submission in the first round. Yeah, I think I picked him by submission in the first round too. So very impressive by him. He's really putting things together. Now he's really, I mean, he's undefeated, man. What can you say? I think the odds for this fight is going to be pretty crazy. But Nicolas Dalby is a very good striker too. He's mostly a guy that's going to take everything you have in the first round, try to survive the early storm, and then he's gonna try to outwork you in the second and third round. That's basically his game. And he's done very well in the UFC. I mean, he's even at 38 years old. He doesn't look like he's 38 years old. I mean, the way this dude fights, he's never been finished in his whole career. He's 6-3 overall, 6-3-1 overall in the UFC. He's got all 6 wins by decision. He's mostly he's not really a dangerous guy anywhere the fight goes. He's mostly a guy that's gonna try to just get you tired, get you to blow off your load, and then he's gonna just outwork you in the second and third round. He's on a 3-5 win streak right now. He beat Claudio Silva, won 2 out of the 3 rounds, and then he did the same thing to Warley Elves. I mean, it was a split decision, but I should have gone to Dalby for sure. And then last time around, he got upset win over Muslim Salikov. I mean, I think he's an underdog in all three of these fights. He was an underdog in all 3 of these fights. I mean, yeah, he was an underdog in the last fight. He was an underdog in this fight too, as a plus 110 underdog in this one too. I think he was underdog in Claudio Silva. No, he's a favorite against Claudio Silva. But yeah, man, this dude, this is a good stylistic matchup for Bonfim though. I think this is a good matchup for Bonfim. I think the UFC really wants to build him up as another contender at welterweight. I mean, I think if he keeps putting things together the way he's been putting things together, I think he can definitely make it into the top 15 and then probably top 10 very, very soon. I mean, this is a good matchup. I mean, Nicolas Dalby is very tough. So, I mean, is he going to be able to finish Nicolas Dalby? We got to think that he's going to finish Nicolas Dalby, right? I mean, he's finishing everyone in the first round. But it might take him a little bit longer to finish Dalby, because Dalby's a very tough dude. He can absolutely take a punch or take a fucking beating. I mean, Dalby is one of those guys that just, when you look at him, he doesn't look all that menacing. But this dude is he's got that dog in him. But I gotta go with Bonfim, man. I gotta go with Gabriel Bonfim. I think Bonfim's gonna get it done, man. I think it's gonna be a submission on the ground. Let's look at some stats, guys. Stats between these two guys. Bonfim has an average fight time of 2 minutes, man. This dude's finishing everyone in 2 minutes. He's 6 feet 1 inch tall with a 72 inch reach. He's got an orthodox stance. He lands about 6.8 significant strikes per minute. Striking accuracy is 37%, and he's absorbing about 4.80 significant strikes. Defense, he's got a grappling. His takedown defense is 100%. He's never been taken down. His takedown accuracy is 100%. He's taken on everyone he's tried to take down. So yeah, very good stats for him. Let's look at some stats for Dalby now. Dalby is always people always underestimate Dalby, but he's a good fighter too. Dalby has his average fight time is 13.53 minutes. He's 5'11 at a 70 with the 74-inch reach. He's gonna have a 2-inch reach advantage here. He throws a lot of good strike. He's got good striking. He's also an orthodox stance fighter. He lands about almost 4 significant strikes per minute, and he's got a striking accuracy of 43%, with the absorbing at 3.39. So he does absorb a lot of damage. His striking defense is 52%, with the takedown defense at 52%. So he does get taken down a lot. I mean, he's on a 3-5 win streak right now. Both these guys are 3-5 win streaks coming into this fight. I think that's why Dalby is getting this big opportunity. But this is the better stylistic matchup for Bonfim than I think it is for Dalby. But I think this fight we're gonna find out if Dalby is able to survive the first round. I think maybe we're gonna find out how good Bonfim's cardio really is. How does he look when this fight goes longer into the second and third round? This fight's really gonna answer all of our questions, because Dalby does not get finished often. He's never been finished for a reason, and this fight's gonna tell us everything we need to know about Gabriel Bonfim. If he finishes him, I mean, his hype's gonna go to the next level. His stock's gonna go up by a lot. But if he can't finish him, he's gonna have to find out another way to outwork Dalby, and it's very hard to outwork Dalby in the second and third round. But I'm gonna go with the Bonfim by submission, man. This dude's fucking finishing everyone. I can't fucking get off the train now. That's my pick, guys. Gabriel Bonfim, I think, is gonna finish Dalby, who's never been finished before, by submission. I'm gonna say second round submission for Gabriel Bonfim. Hey guys, next up at heavyweight we have Dalby Mays taking on Rodrigo Nascimento. This is mostly a grappler versus a striker matchup, but both of these guys don't really use their grappling. Nascimento is a grappler, Mays is the striker mostly. And Mays is coming off a win over Andrei Arlovsky, where he knocked him down and finished him. And Rodrigo Nascimento is coming off a win over Ilir Latifi, where it was a very close decision. He got taken down a bunch of times there. He could have technically lost one. I think he lost one out of the 2 rounds. 1 out of the 3 rounds, I mean. But the judges had it very, very close, and it was a very close fight. Before that, he had a split decision with Tanner Bowser, so he's having split decisions with these lower level heavyweights. Just not a good look, man. Anyways, Nascimento is 30 years old, at 6 feet 2 inches tall, with the 80-inch reach. He trains at American Top Team. His opponent Dalby Mays is 10-5 overall in his MMA record, with 31 years old, 6 feet 6 inches tall. He's very, very tall for the weight class, and he's got a reach of 81-inch, and he trains out of Jackson Vinc MMA. So both these guys train out of high level gyms, MMA gyms. Dalby Mays is I think he's a better, more crisp striker. He lands good volume also. He's coming off a win over Andrei Arlovsky. Before that, he lost to Augustus Kai, like very, very low level heavyweight fights. He knocked down Josh Petrosyan. I mean, this is the second fight between these two guys. Yeah, they already had a fight before. I mean, Rodrigo Nascimento choked him out in the second round. Okay. So they already fought before, guys. This is their second rematch. I don't know why this rematch is happening, if I'm being honest. But this is their second fight in the UFC. Rodrigo Nascimento choked him out in the second round, so that's why everyone's picking Rodrigo Nascimento again. I'm gonna go with the Dalby Mays, man. I think he might be able to defend some takedowns. Let me see what his takedown defense is. Dalby Mays' takedown defense is 56%. Horrible takedown defense. But I know he's gonna be working on that takedown defense. He probably doesn't want to lose to Nascimento again. Anyways, so Nascimento average fight time is 7 minutes 56 seconds, and Dalby Mays' average fight time is 11 minutes 46 seconds. So Dalby Mays is gonna be 4 inches taller than him, and he's gonna have a 1 inch reach advantage over him. And both of these guys are orthodox stance fighters. Nascimento lands a little bit more strikes landed per minute. They absorb about the same. They're absorbing about the same strikes they're landing. They don't have the best striking defense. Takedown average, I mean, Nascimento is the one that's going to be going for takedowns. Takedown accuracy of 41%. Maez's 56 takedown defense is horrible. So I mean, this is a very low level heavyweight fight, guys. I'm not super confident in my pick, but I'm gonna go with the underdog here. I think Donto Mays is gonna be the underdog because he got submitted in the first fight. But I think knocking out Andrei Arlovsky is really gonna bring his confidence up. But this is a very low level heavyweight fight. I don't really care much about this fight, guys. I'm gonna go with Donto Mays by decision. That's my pick for this featured fight on the main card, guys. Alright, guys, next up in the main card we have Rodolfo Vieira taking on Armen Petrosyan. This is going to be a middleweight matchup between these two guys. So Rodolfo Vieira, we know how good of a grappler he is. He's a multiple time world jiu-jitsu champion, and he's been in the UFC for a couple of fights now. He's had about 6 fights in the UFC and he's gone 4-2 overall. And he got finished by Cody Brundage in the second round, where he pretty much emptied the whole gas tank in the first round. No, I think he's coming off a win over Cody Brundage, okay. Cody Brundage had him in all sorts of trouble. Cody Brundage dropped him a couple of times. But then we all know who Cody Brundage is. I mean, he pretty much is done after the first round, has nothing left in the tank. But Cody Brundage had him in all sorts of trouble before that second round. But then he was able to go out there, take everything Cody Brundage was able to put out there, and take all the damage and everything, and then choke him out with the arm triangle choke. So he's got very good skills on the ground. He's finished all of his 4 wins by submission. Before that, Chris Curtis was able to outstrike him and beat him by unanimous decision. He beat Justin Stoltzfus. I mean, who isn't beating Dustin Stoltzfus? Anthony Hernandez was able to choke him out in the second round. Anthony Hernandez has otherworldly cardio. And then before that, he was competing in grappling, and he's been competing in grappling since back in 2007. So he's a lifelong combat athlete, guys. His opponent, Armen Petrosyan, is a world-class kickboxer. He's coming up 2 wins over AJ Dobson and last win over Christian Leroy Duncan. There was a lot of hype on Christian Leroy Duncan in that fight, and Armen Petrosyan was able to stay technical and outstrike Christian Leroy Duncan, and he looks really good, man. His only loss was to Caio Borralho, who's also fighting on this card, and we're gonna be breaking that fight down soon. Anyways, guys, so Armen Petrosyan, he's a very good kickboxer, has very good takedown defense also. His only 2 losses are to Caio Borralho, who's a very good technical grappler, and then Hassan Hosifi back in 2021 in AMC, where he was knocked out in the first round. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go with I think Armen Petrosyan is gonna be able to defend the takedowns and really put the volume on Rodolfo Vieira and probably even knock him out. He's not really a guy that knocks people out. I mean, his win over Gabriel Rodriguez, I mean, that win looks really good. And then he got a win in Contender Series. Rodolfo Vieira, I mean, he gets hurt badly in the first round, and I think Armen Petrosyan is going to be able to outstrike him, defend the takedowns, and win by unanimous decision. Let's look at the stats for this matchup, guys. So Rodolfo Vieira has an average fight time of 8 minutes and 47 seconds. His opponent, Armen Petrosyan, mostly goes to the decisions most often. He's got better cardio. Petrosyan's got the much better cardio, much better gas tank, more durability. And I would never seen really Petrosyan hurt ever. So Petrosyan's going to have a 3-inch height advantage here. Rodolfo Vieira is going to have a 2-inch reach advantage here. Both these guys fight in the orthodox stance. Strikes landed per minute. I mean, Armen Petrosyan is landing way more, almost double the significant strikes per minute. Striking accuracy is very similar to both guys. They both absorb a lot of damage, though. But Rodolfo Vieira is the one that takes the more damage in his fights. Armen Petrosyan has better striking defense also. Takedown average, I mean, Rodolfo Vieira is the one that's going for most takedowns. You will never see Armen Petrosyan go for takedowns, but last fight he did mix in a takedown just to put a stamp on a round. But Armen Petrosyan does get taken down. I mean, he's fought a very good level of opponents. His takedown defense is 36%, and Rodolfo Vieira's takedown defense is 100%. So the grappling does favor Rodolfo Vieira. But Rodolfo Vieira can get outstruck and outlanded. So I'm gonna go with Armen Petrosyan here, guys. That's my pick. I'm gonna say Armen Petrosyan outstrikes him, wins by unanimous decision. That's my pick for this card. Alright, guys, next up at lightweight we have Ismael Bonfim taking on Vinc Pichel. This is a good matchup for Ismael Bonfim. He's coming off a loss to Benoit Santini. I mean, Benoit Santini is a very good fighter. We found out how good Benoit Santini really is lately this year. I mean, that's when we really found out how good Santini really is. Anyways, so he's the brother of Gabriel Bonfim. Ismael Bonfim is 27 years old, 5 feet 8 inches tall with a 71-inch reach. He trains at a Cerrado MMA gym. He's 19-4 overall. His hole in his game is mostly that he can get out-grappled and he can get submitted on the ground. He's got very bad submission defense. He's been submitted 4 times in his career. He doesn't defend submissions all too well. Even in the first round against Santini, he pretty much just said, "Here, Santini, take my neck, submit me." There's only like 10 seconds left in the round, in the first round, and he pretty much gave up his neck for a rear naked choke. Anyways, he's taking on Vinc Pichel, who's got 14 wins and 3 losses overall. He's 40 years old, so this is I think the UFC is trying to get Bonfim a win here. He's 5 feet 10 inches tall with a 72-inch reach. He trains out of a Big John McCarthy's Ultimate Training Academy. Vinc Pichel is coming back after quite a long time. He hasn't had a fight since 2022, where Mark Madsen was able to out-grapple him and beat him up. Anyways, before that he beat Austin Hubbard, which is a good win for him. Beat him by unanimous decision. Beat Jim Miller, which is a good win for him. Jim Miller is a veteran. Beat him by unanimous decision. Before that he beat Roosevelt Roberts. Got choked out by Gregory Gillespie. Beat Joaquim Silva. He's mostly a guy that's gonna try to outwork you in the second and third round. But Bonfim's a powerful striker. I mean, Bonfim's the one that's gonna have heavy hands, and it makes sense why everyone's picking Bonfim here. But Bonfim's got some holes in his game, man, and Vinc Pichel doesn't really go for submissions. He's mostly a guy that's gonna be. He's got 0 submission wins in his fights in his career. He's been submitted once. He's been knocked out once. This is a good stylistic matchup for Bonfim here. Ismael Bonfim. Bonfim has an average fight time of 9 minutes and 2 seconds. His height. Let's talk about it. Both of these guys have an orthodox stance, and Bonfim lands about almost 5 significant strikes per minute. He's got a striking accuracy of 57%, and he absorbs 2.66 significant strikes per minute. He's got a striking defense of 76%. He's got a really high striking defense. His takedown average is 1.1. He gets about 1 takedown per fight. Takedown accuracy with 28%, and he's got a takedown defense of 81%. Very good takedown defense. His opponent's takedown defense is 23%, so very bad takedown defense from Vinc Pichel. Vinc Pichel has an average fight time of 12 minutes. He's 5'10". He also fights in orthodox stance, and he lands about 3.56 significant strikes per minute with the striking accuracy of 47%. He absorbs around 2.50 significant strikes per minute with the striking defense of 58%. Both these guys have pretty good striking defense. His takedown average is he's landing about 3 takedowns per fight with the takedown accuracy of 54% with the 23% takedown defense, which is very bad. Anyways, guys, so this is an easy matchup to predict because this is the UFC trying to give a Bonfim a win here. Vinc Pichel hasn't fought in like over a year, way over a year. I mean, he fought back in April last year, so he hasn't fought in over a year and a half. And Bonfim's been very active though. He's fought like 4 times since the last time Pichel fought. We're gonna go with Bonfim by a first round knockout, guys. That's my pick, guys, for this fight. This should be easy win for Bonfim. But if he can't finish the fight early, I mean, he might get tired. Doesn't have the best cardio, but he should be able to get it done. I mean, the UFC is really trying to give him an easy win here. Alright, guys, next up at middleweight we have Caio Borralho taking on Magomedov. It looks like Caio Borralho is moving up in weight. I mean, doesn't he fight at welterweight? He's fought at welterweight for majority of his career, doesn't he? I mean, he fought at he fought at middleweight. Okay. Maybe I'm tripping then. I thought he was fighting at welterweight. But anyhow, guys, so Caio Borralho, we all know how good of a grappler he is. he's undefeated in his career for a reason, and he's 14-1 overall, undefeated in the UFC. He's on a 4-5 win streak in the UFC. Beat Omar Gaji by decision. Out-grappled him. Out-grappled Armen Petrosyan, who's a very good high-level kickboxer. Has a very good similar fighting style to Abus Magomedov. And then out-grappled Mahmoud Muradov. I mean, this dude taking on killers at middleweight. Then submitted Misail Olashchechuk, who's a very good underrated fighter. Caio Borralho is 30 years old. 6 feet 1 inch tall with a 75-inch reach. He trains out of Fighting Nerds. Fighting Nerd Gym has been on fire lately. Their guys on Contender Series are getting all the contracts, getting all the upsets or as an underdogs. So these dudes, I mean, they know how to come up with good game plans for fights. He's taken on Abus Magomedov. Abus Magomedov is a good kickboxer. He's 25. He's got 25 wins and 5 losses overall, and 1 draw. He's coming off a loss to Sean Strickland, where he looked really good. He won the first round against Sean Strickland and pretty much emptied his gas tank. He landed a lot of output in the first round. Before that, he knocked out Justin Stoltzfus in like the first 10 seconds. And before that, he was fighting at KSW and PFO. He's 33 years old, at 6 feet 2 inches tall with a 78-inch reach. He's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage here. He trains out of a UFC gym. Anyways, guys, so I don't need to get into details with this fight. I think Caio Borralho is going to be able to out-grapple him. Let's look at some stats, guys. So Caio Borralho has an average fight time of 11 minutes 24 seconds. With Caio Borralho was supposed to take on Nursul Ruzibayev in this fight, but I guess that fight fell through. So now he's taken on Abus Magomedov on short notice, I guess, which is very confusing. I mean, did that fight get cancelled? Caio, yeah, he was supposed to take on Nursul Ruzibayev, who just knocked out Bruno Ferreira, but Ruzibayev withdrew for some reason. So we had a couple of cancellations on this fight so far. So now he's taking on Magomedov. So Magomedov, we all know. I mean, is he gonna come out here and able to defend the takedowns? I don't think so, man. I think Caio Borralho is gonna be able to out-grapple him, stay safe on the feet, and really make him tired. I mean, we know Abus Magomedov doesn't have the best gas tank, and I like Caio Borralho here. I think Caio Borralho wins by unanimous decision. This is a 3-round fight, guys. So if it was, maybe he could find a submission also. But Abus Magomedov has underrated grappling also, so maybe he could stay safe in the grappling exchanges. He has been submitted twice in his career. He's been knocked out twice. So he has been finished 50% of his losses. Borralho has never been finished in his career. I'm going to say Caio Borralho by unanimous decision, maybe 29-28. Alright, guys, that's my pick for this fight. Caio Borralho by unanimous decision, 29-28. Alright, guys, next up at light heavyweight, we have Vitor Petrino taking on Modestas Bukauskas. This is another really good matchup. I mean, this card is full of good matchups, man. I really hope all these fights stay together, because this probably could have been like a pay-per-view low key if the main event they had a title fight. This could have been like underrated. This is a very good UFC fight night card. I really hope all these fights stay together, guys. Anyway, so Vitor Petrino, we know he's a very well-rounded fighter. He's got so much power in his hands. He's undefeated in his career for a reason, and he's got really good wins. I mean, he's fought straight killers. He submitted Marcin Prachnio last time in the 3rd round. Beat Anton Turkali by decision. Outworked him. Knocked out Rodolfo Bellato. I mean, Rodolfo Bellato just picked up a big win on Dana White Contender Series in the last week over a really high-level Russian guy. Tala, I think his name was Tala. So before that, he knocked out Ghazi Murad, Anton Gulov, UAE Warriors. I mean, he beat Rodolfo Bellato twice. I mean, he knocked him out in this first pro career fight in the first 25 seconds. So this dude is heavy power, man. He can grapple also. He's really rounding his game out now, and he's got cardio too. I mean, he doesn't really slow down all that much. But he's taken down Modestas Bukauskas, who's mostly a point fighter. I'll say doesn't have much finishing ability. He has finished guys on the regionals, but he was knocked out by Khalil Roundtree back 2 years ago with the side kick to the knee. And it looks like he's really turning his career around. But this is not a good matchup for him. I mean, Modestas Bukauskas, he's coming off 3 wins he's 3-3 in the UFC. He's been finished in 75% of his losses. Anyways, guys, so he's taken on Vitor Petrino. Vitor Petrino is 26 years old, at 6 feet 2 inches tall with a 77-inch reach. Trains out of CM system. He's taken on Modestas Bukauskas, who's 29 years old, at 6 feet 3 inches tall with a 78-inch reach. He's going to have a 1-inch reach advantage here. He trains out of a Jailton combat. I think Vitor Petrino is going to be able to maybe get a takedown and find a submission on the ground. I'm going to say Vitor Petrino gets a submission. He could even knock Modestas Bukauskas out. I would not be shocked if he knocks him out cold. Bukauskas has been knocked out 3 times in his career. He's been knocked out twice in the UFC in 6 fights. I'm going to say Vitor Petrino knocks him out. I'm going to say, instead of a submission, I'm going to say he knocks him out on the feet in the first round. That's my pick, guys. First round knockout for Vitor Petrino. Alright, guys, next up at lightweight we have Elves Brener taking on Esteban Ribovics. Elves Brener is 15-3 overall in his MMA career. He's on a 4-5 win streak right now. 2 of those are in the UFC. He beat Vieira to hug. That was a very close fight. It was a split decision. Could have gone either way in my opinion. Then he got a big win over Gabriel as a big underdog. I think he was like a minus 400 underdog in that fight. He knocked out Gabriel with a crazy knockout in the 3rd round. But he was getting pieced up in the first 2 rounds. He was a almost plus 400 underdog. Crazy, man. Only 5% people picked him to win there. I did not pick him to win there, I'll be honest. But that was a crazy knockout, man. This dude has that dog in him. He trains at a shoot box, Diogo Lima. So it makes sense that he has got that dog in him 100%. He's on quite a roll right now, man. And now people are finally taking notice how good this guy really is. He's the main sparring partner of Charles Oliveira, by the way, who's fighting on the UFC 294 card for the main event at lightweight. So he's got very good sparring partners. It's no wonder that he's looking really, really good at lightweight now, training with Charles Oliveira. His fight's very similar to Charles Oliveira. He's got a good ground game also, but he can strike. I mean, he's got a lot of power in his hands. He's taken on Esteban Ribovics, who's 12-1 overall. He's coming off a win over Camilo he outworked him, won 2 out of the 3 rounds. And he's a good striker mostly. I wouldn't say that he's a grappler. He's got power in his hands, but not. I think Elves Brener hits a little bit harder. Yeah, Esteban Ribovics is 27 years old. He's 5 feet 10 inches tall with a 69-inch reach. He trains out of an Alpha team. Let's look at some stats, guys. So, average fight time for Elves Brener is 14 minutes. And Esteban Ribovics' average fight time is 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Both of these guys are 5 feet 10 inches tall. Elves Brener has a 3-inch reach advantage here. Both of these guys fight in orthodox stance. Elves Brener lands about 4.74 significant strikes. On the other hand, Ribovics lands 6.16. So Ribovics has the better volume and lands more volume. He's more of a minute winner. Elves Brener is more of a guy that's trying to finish you in the fights. Both of them, Elves Brener has 46% striking accuracy, with his opponent coming in at 52%. Brener does absorb a lot of damage. All these shoot box Diogo Lima guys do absorb a lot of damage, but they're really durable. I mean, they're really durable, and they can take a beating. And then when you're tired, and they'll just knock you out when you're tired. His striking defense is 53%. He lands about 1 takedown per fight, with a takedown accuracy of 20%. Nothing really to brag home about. His takedown defense is 85%. Very good takedown defense by him. He's coming off a win over Kutazaladi and Tuhagov. His opponent, Esteban Ribovics, is 12-1 overall, 5 feet 10 with the 69-inch reach. He lands about 6.16 significant strikes, with the striking defense at 52%. He lands about almost 1 takedown per fight also. Both these guys like to stand and bang. His takedown accuracy is 66%, so when Esteban Ribovics does go for takedown, normally he's able to get it. His takedown defense is not as good as Brener, but both of these guys haven't had a lot of fights in the UFC, so these stats are kind of misleading. Anyways, guys, so I'm gonna go with this is a tough matchup, man, because Brener looks so good right now. I gotta go with him. I mean, I can't fade him now. I can't fade a Chutebao Diego Lima guy who trains with Charles Oliveira. I think he's got a big win over Guram Kutateladze. I mean, Guram Kutateladze was landing some big shots on him and landing a lot of elbows, and this dude's got a chin on him and a half. I think he's gonna have the bigger moments in this fight. I wouldn't be shocked if he even knocks out Ribovics, but Ribovics is very tough and durable. This is gonna be a closer fight than the people think, but I'm gonna go with the Elvis Brener here, guys. I think he's gonna win by decision. Could knock him out, but I think Ribovics is very durable. I'm gonna say Elvis Brener wins by decision. That's my pick for this fight, guys. Alright, guys, next up at welterweight we have Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos taking on Rinat Fakhretdinov. This is another really banger matchup, man. This card keeps delivering and delivering. Like this, the matchup on this card is just absolutely stacked from top to bottom. So let's get into the fight, the breakdown, guys. Elizeu Zaleski, I mean, he's a veteran of UFC. He's been in the UFC for quite a long time now. He's 24-7 overall. He's on a 2-5-win streak. He beat Benoit Saint-Denis. When Benoit Saint-Denis is mostly a lightweight, but he was fighting. He made his UFC debut at welterweight. He absolutely whooped Benoit Saint-Denis from start to finish. Then he beat Abubakar Nurmagomedov, which is another good win. He's 36 years old, at 5 feet 11 inches tall with a 73-inch reach. Trains out of CM system. He's taking on Rinat Fakhretdinov, guys, the Gladiator. 22 wins and 2 losses overall. I mean, amazing record. He's 32 years old, 6 feet tall with a 74-inch reach. So he's gonna have a 1-inch reach advantage here. Not sure where he trains out of, but this is a good matchup, man. This is another really good matchup. It's crazy to me how many people are just only 6% people picking Dos Santos, but it makes sense, man. Rinat Fakhretdinov is an absolute monster. Both of these guys are very well-rounded fighters, but Elizeu Zaleski wants to keep the fight on the feet. He's mostly a striker, whereas Rinat Fakhretdinov is mostly a grappler, wrestler, who can really push the pace on you. He's coming off of wins over Andre Michailidis. He out-grappled him, then he out-grappled Brian Battle. Brian Battle is a very good fighter. I mean, Brian Battle's on a win streak himself right now. It's a really good win for him there. Then he beat Kevin Lee, submitted Kevin Lee in the first round. Now, it really looks like he's starting to find the finishes now. And Rinat Fakhretdinov, I mean, this dude's 22-2 for a reason. He's fought legit guys, and he's never been finished. And I don't think Zaleski dos Santos has ever been finished. He's been finished, 1 loss by finish, 1 loss by KO, TKO, and 2 losses by submission. He's 10-3 in the UFC. I mean, that's a really good record. If you ask me, he lost the fight to Muslim Salika by split decision, which probably could have gone either way. Then Jing Liang knocked him out in the 3rd round. And then Nicolas Dalby beat him by a split decision. I mean, Nicolas Dalby's beating everyone by split decisions, if I'm being honest, guys. He's got some underrated wins. I mean, he got a win over Maxim Griffin. Beats Sean Strickland in the 1st round by knockout. I mean, he beat the champion. I mean, this is look at this win. Look how good this win is aging for him. I mean, beat him by knockout as an underdog too. I mean, that just tells you, man, this dude is very underrated. Very good skills everywhere. He's got a good takedown defense also. Let's look at some stats now, guys. Let's look at Elizeu dos Santos. He lands about 4.48 significant strikes. He's got good volume with a striking accuracy of 41%. And he's absorbing 3.10 significant strikes per minute with the striking defense of 58%. So very good striking defense. He knows how to stay safe on the striking exchanges. His takedown, he's not really a guy that goes for takedowns a whole lot. He's barely landing 1 takedown every couple of fights. His takedown accuracy is 14%. He's not really attempting that many takedowns. Even when he doesn't have the best takedowns. His takedown defense is 65%. Not really the best, but he's been in the UFC for so long now. 13 fights in the UFC, so 65% isn't horrible. with the submission average of 0.4. He's on a 2-5 win streak right now. His opponent Rinat Fakhretdinov is 21-1 overall. His average fight time is 10 minutes. He's 6 feet tall. He's landing about 3.20 significant strikes on the feet with the striking accuracy of 67%, very high striking accuracy. He's absorbing 0.30. He's absorbing very little significant strikes. He's barely eating anything on the feet, and he's very good at implementing his game plan, guys. His striking defense is 57%. He lands about almost 6 takedowns per fight. He can really push the pace on you. He has very good cardio also. His takedown accuracy is 63%. Man, that is very, very high. You don't see the striking accuracy at 63% often in the UFC. His takedown defense is 100%. Man, he's gone a 3-5 win streak right now in the UFC. His last 2 wins are really good. Kevin Lee and Brian Battle. Man, this is a tough one to pick, man, because it's crazy how many people are fading Elizeu dos Santos here in this fight. And it makes sense why, because Rinat Fakhretdinov is an absolute monster. But man, this is crazy. Like 6% people picking. This is a much closer fight than people think. I mean, people are making it out to be. But I gotta go with Rinat Fakhretdinov. I think he's gonna out-grapple him. I think he might be able to find a submission later in the fight. I'm gonna say Rinat Fakhretdinov by decision, guys. That's my pick. I think he's gonna be able to get the takedowns and out-grapple him. Rinat Fakhretdinov by unanimous decision. Alright, guys. Next up, as women's strawweight, we have Angela Hill taking on Denise Gomes. This is a very good stylistic matchup for Denise Gomes, in my opinion. Angela Hill, we all know who Angela Hill is. She's a UFC veteran by now. She's had so many majority of her fights in the UFC. I mean, she's had 23 fights in the UFC. She's 10-13 overall. She's only been submitted twice in 23 fights. Never been knocked out. She's very durable. And Mackenzie Dern wasn't able to even submit her in that fight in the main event. She can take an absolute ass whooping any day of the week. But every time she takes on these powerful girls, she doesn't really have much for them. Anyways, Angela Hill, she's 15-13 overall in her career. Majority of her fights in the UFC. She's 38 years old, 5 feet 3 inches tall with a 64.5-inch reach. She trains out of Alliance MMA. She's taken on Denise Gomes, my girl Denise Gomes. Has 8 wins and 2 losses. She's 23 years old, very, very young. There's a big age gap in this fight, guys. Denise Gomes is 5 feet 2 inches tall with a 63-inch reach, guys. Denise Gomes, I mean, what can you say, man? Denise Gomes is a very powerful striker. She's got some power for a girl. I mean, she sparked Bruno Brazil by knockout in the second round. I picked her there as an underdog, pretty big underdog. I think she's like a plus 250 underdog there. And then she knocked out Jasmine Hargui. I did fade her against Jasmine Hargui. I kind of got tangled up in Hargui's hype train. So I should have picked Denise Gomes, man. She's an absolute monster. I mean, this dude has some power. I mean, this girl has some power as a girl at strawweight. You're not gonna see much girls with this much power that Denise Gomes has. She was out-grappled by Loma Lookboonmee, but Loma Lookboonmee is an underrated grappler. Angela Hill is not going to do that at all. Angela Hill is going to try to stand and bang with Denise Gomes, and Denise Gomes is going to put her out cold, I think. Let's look at the stats, guys. So, average fight time for Angela Hill is 14 minutes and 30 seconds. She's mostly a girl that goes to decisions. She's never been knocked out. And she's 5'3". She lands about she's mostly a volume striker, whereas Denise Gomes is more of a finisher. And their striking accuracy is 49%, both of theirs. But Angela Hill absorbs way more significant strikes than she lands. Her striking defense is 61%. That's shocking to me, considering how many significant strikes she absorbs. She blocks everything with her head. Her takedown average is 0.54. She doesn't really go for takedowns anywhere. Her takedown accuracy is 29%. Takedown defense at 76%. She's lost to Mackenzie Dern, beat Emily Ducote, beat Lupi Godinez, and then lost to Jandy Roba, and lost to Amanda Lemos. Denise Gomes is on a 2-5 win streak right now over Hargui and Brazil. and Denise Gomes lands about a 5.5 significant strikes per minute with the striking accuracy for 49%, and she absorbs three significant strikes per minute with the striking defense at 55%. She's landing about 1 takedown per fight. Doesn't really go for takedowns all that much, but I think in this fight, if she should go for takedowns, but she can probably even knock out Angela Hill on the feet. She's got her takedown defense is 50%. That's probably because Loma Lukbumil was taking her down, but I don't think she's gonna have to worry about the takedowns in this fight. She's more dangerous off her back. Also, she's gonna go for submissions. Anyways, without wasting too much time, man, I'm gonna go with Denise Gomes by first round knockout. I think she's either gonna club and sub her, or she's gonna beat the fuck out of her on the feet for 3 rounds. That's my pick, guys. I'm gonna say Denise Gomes by knockout. I think she's gonna be the first girl to knock out Angela Hill in her MMA career in the UFC. I mean, hey guys. Next up in the women's strawweight division, we have Montserrat Ruiz taking on Eduarda Mora. Eduarda Mora is making her UFC debut. She picked up a good win on Dana White Contender Series. She got a submission in rear naked choke, which is a really good win. She's taking on Ruiz, who's on a 2-5 losing streak right now. She got knocked out by Amanda Lemos in the first round, and then she got a ground and pounded by Jacqueline Amorim, who's a really good high-level grappler. Ruiz is really small for the weight class. She's 5 feet tall, man. She should fight at like atom weight, I think, in my opinion. She's very, very small. Her reach is 61. She's got a 61-inch reach. I mean, that's very, very low. She trains out of 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. She's been in the UFC for 3 fights now. She picked up a win in her UFC debut over Cheyenne Lismus. She grappled her. She's mostly a girl that's gonna go for the head and arm throw, and if she doesn't get it, she's basically done. But she's a scrappy girl. She's taking on Eduarda Mora, who's making her UFC debut right now, 9-0 undefeated. Trains out of Galpo de Luta gym. She's 5 feet 6 inch tall. She's gonna be 6 inch taller than Ruiz here, and she's got a 66.5 inch reach. She's almost 67 inch reach. She's gonna have a 67, almost 7 inch reach advantage here, guys. This is a very good stylistic matchup for her. She's never lost a fight. She's finished the majority of her fights by submission. 5 wins by submission, 3 wins by knockout. Yeah, man. It doesn't have any notable wins or anything, but I'm gonna say Eduarda Mora gets a rear naked choke in this fight. Eduarda Mora by first round, maybe a second round submission for Mora. She's finishing majority of her fights, and the first round though, I mean, look, she's got like all wins by first round submission. Like, look, first round submission, first round submission, first round submission, first round knockout, first round submission, first round submission, second round knockout, first round submission. I mean, this girl's a finisher. And her last fight was back in August 15th. She beat Silva, who's 5-1. I think we saw Silva on the Contender Series. She lost to Eduarda. Yeah, they fought in Contender Series, and she was able to pick up a pretty easy rear naked choke there. Good win for their first round submission she got. I think she's gonna submit Ruiz in the first round too. That's my pick, guys. Eduarda Mora by first round submission, guys. That's my pick. Let's go to the next one now. Alright, guys, next up at featherweight we have Lucas Alexander taking on David Ernama, the silent assassin. So Lucas Alexander has 8 wins and 3 losses overall. He's coming off a win over Steven Peterson. He's 28 years old, 5 feet 11 inches tall with a 73 inch reach. He trains out of Fusion X Performance Institute. He's taken on David Ernama, the silent assassin, who's 11-2 overall in his MMA career. Is 29 years old, 5 feet 11 inches tall with a 74 inch reach, guys. He trains out of Glory MMA and Fitness. So this is a good stylistic matchup for David Ernama, in my opinion. Lucas Alexander is coming off he's had a fight. He beat Steven Peterson he pulled that off as an underdog, beat him by a 3-round decision. Before that, he got knocked out submitted by Joanderson Brito in the first round. And no shocker there. I mean, Brito was supposed to go out and do what he did to him. Brito pretty much climbed on his back in the first round and just choked him out. I mean, Before that, he fought in Anthony Pettis' FC promotion. He's got some good wins, but he can get out grappled and submitted. I mean, doesn't have much of a ground game himself. He's been all of his 3 losses are by submission. David Nama has good jiu-jitsu off his back also. He's a striker too. He knocked out Gabriel Santos by second round with a beautiful uppercut. He pulled that off as quite a big underdog there. He was a plus 185 dog there. Yeah, really good win for him there. I think I picked Nama there. Yeah, I did pick David Nama there. Yeah, he's looking really good though. Before that, he outworked by Nate Landwehr, but that was definitely a fight of the night. It was the best MMA fight of the year of 2022. So that was a good fight by both guys, but Nate Landwehr just has that dog in him. Before that, he beat Gabriel Benitez by his first round knockout, standing TKO. He got outworked by Mason Jones. UFC Fight Night. It is what it is. I mean, he can get outworked sometimes, but he's got very underrated power, and he's always dangerous on the feet and on the ground. He's got 4 wins by submission and 7 wins by knockout TKO, and he's never won a fight by decision. I think either David Onama's gonna finish him early, or Lucas Alexander's gonna get Onama tired and then outwork him maybe. But I'm gonna say David Onama gets a first round submission, maybe a rear naked choke. Alright guys, next up we have another fight at lightweight. We have Coach Fernandez taking on Mark DeCasey, guys. Fernandez is making his UFC debut in this fight. He's out of Brazil. His age is not available, but he's 5 feet 9 inches tall. His reach is not available as of right now. He trains out of Nova One Gym. He's taking on Mark DeCasey, who's we all know who Mark DeCasey is. He's got good grappling, good striking, but he's really turned into this grappler now and doesn't really want to strike all that much. He was able to go out there and now grapple Vyacheslav Borisov, who's a really good kickboxer, one of those elite kickboxers. Then he was able to get a win over Damir Hadjovics by grappling him, but he's on a 2-fight losing streak right now to Michael Johnson, where he won the first round and couldn't get the takedowns going and just didn't know what to do, and Michael Johnson was able to just outwork him, and then he got submitted by Joe Alvarez, and I did pick Alvarez in that fight. Anyways, he's 30 years old, 5 feet 10 inches tall with a 73-inch reach. He trains out of Great Britain top team. This is a tough matchup, man. Do I want to pick the UFC proven veteran who's a 7-7 500 level fighter in the UFC on a 2-5 losing streak, or do I want to pick the newcomer Fernandez, who's making his UFC debut and doesn't have the experience yet, but he's never been finished. He's finished most of his wins. He's mostly a finisher. He beat Felipe Douglas by knockout in the first round within the first minute too, as a pretty big underdog. I mean, look, he was a plus 220 underdog, and he knocked him out in the first round too. Very impressive, man. I think that's why he's getting this big opportunity in the UFC. Before that, he knocked out Jose early by first round knockout also. I mean, this dude's got some big power, and I'm gonna take him here. I think Fernandez can really land something big on Mark DeCasey. We've seen Mark DeCasey. I mean, doesn't really want to strike anymore. He's never been knocked out though, so he's very durable, but he has been submitted 3 times in his career. But he has faced some good level opponents. I mean, he's faced Michael Johnson, Joe Alvarez. He beat Lando Venata. He's faced Dan Hooker, faced Nasrat Haqparast, faced Durkar Close, had a split decision with him. So he's faced good level opponents, man, but it just feels like he's not really taking his career all that serious anymore. And he's just getting finished. He got finished by Joe Alvarez. No shame losing to Joe Alvarez, but he's coming back pretty quick, man. I'm going to take the newcomer here. I think Fernandez, I don't know how his takedown defense really is, but I'm going to have to do some tape study on this fight. We got still a lot of time to go before this fight card. And I'm really looking forward to this fight because Fernandez has some big power, man. He's got submissions too, 2 wins by submission, and he's never been finished. So he's very well rounded. I'm gonna take Fernandez here, but I wouldn't be shocked if Martinez comes out here with the experience, with the UFC experience, fighting the best guys in the world, coming out here and just out grapples Fernandez. It would not shock me in the least bit. But I'm gonna take the newcomer here, Fernandez, I'm gonna say by maybe a club and sub. I'm gonna say submission, by a second round submission. Alright guys, that's my pick for this fight card. If you guys appreciate the grind, appreciate the early videos, if you guys want me to keep making this early quick picks video a couple of weeks before the fight card, please leave a like below. It really helps out with the algorithm, and leave a comment below for the algorithm. Really makes YouTube algorithm push my videos out to new people. So I really appreciate that when you guys leave a like and comment below. And I will, if you guys have any questions, you can always reach me on Discord. The Discord is absolutely free, guys. And I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of this fight card. This is a really underrated fight card that's flying under the radar, and I'm really looking forward to this fight card, guys. After the UFC pay-per-view 294, I cannot wait for this fight card on November. This is the November 4th. Anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like below and don't forget to comment and let me know who you guys are, what you guys picks are. I would love to talk to you guys about this fight. Thank you for watching, guys. I appreciate you guys being here, and let's keep it up, guys. Let's keep it going. We're gonna get to 500 subscribers by end of this year. That's my goal, guys. My goal is to hit 500 subscribers, and I'm really putting in the work. You guys can see I'm really putting in the work. I've been making content every day, and I will keep making this content for you guys. Let's get it, guys. Let's keep this train rolling, guys. I know we can keep it going.